Hi Cancer, welcome to your week ahead taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Cancer, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, let me give these a good shuffle. So, for your key to the week this week, you have. The World card. Are you ready to graduate? Are you ready to take a step forward and a step upwards? Because whether you are or aren't, this is the way things are going for you this week. Remember as well, the World card represents your communities. Usually it's the communities that you're tied to, the communities that you're a part of, or even the communities that you have created in some way, shape or form. They are going to be instrumental for you this week in all of these different areas of your life. The other thing with the World card, it usually does represent a big step upwards or a big step forward in some regard. So I actually kind of like this for you. It is a week of advancement. Are you ready to do something different? And more importantly, are you ready to take your steps towards advancement? For your actions and options this week, you've got the Magician card. Look at that, right? Powerful stuff, especially with the World card. So this week, you are going for it. This is you really starting to envision or at least position yourself in the position of what it means to be not only successful but to be at the height of your game in some way, shape or form. This is you pressing forward to really align yourself with what your personal next level looks like. Because you've got this with the World card though, I am going to say this will come with some, I hate the word sacrifice, but I gotta say there's something or someone maybe for some of you you're gonna need to leave behind here. If you want that next level, this week is going to show you what or who you are going to need to leave behind. And I gotta tell you, it won't be easy, but it will absolutely be worth it for you. The other thing, in terms of the options that are available to you, I wouldn't be surprised if you get an invite to do some kind of public speaking. Maybe you get an invite to talk about something that you hadn't even seen in a specific way, but then someone says like, oh wow, I love the way that you talk about that. Would you like to come and do a demonstration or a talk or whatever the case might be? So I'm totally here for it. I will say this is going to come with a lot of questions as to why you're not already doing this in a bigger way. And maybe that's going to be the kick in the butt that you need, right? For your communications and conversations, you've got the Two of Wands. So are you ready to start rubbing shoulders with some of those bigger bigwigs? This is money. Right, the Two of Wands, especially coupled with the Magician, this is you making money or figuring out that you can make money from something else that you're doing that at the moment is kind of just dormant. It's just sort of sat there, not necessarily doing a lot. And now all of a sudden you realize, wow, there's a hidden potential on a financial level to be had from this. Now, for those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, the Two of Wands with the Magician suggests that the money that you need is available, but more importantly, you might be able to access some kind of funding. And this will come down to the community or the connections that you have within your community. It will come down to the connections that you have sort of highlighting this opportunity for you. So I am going to say, if you're a student, if you're studying in some way, and there's an invite of some sort, from Go, even if it's not necessarily your crowd, even if it's not necessarily something that you kind of really want to do, just know that this is probably it's a good space for you to go to. When it comes to your those of you that are employed by somebody else, This is you rubbing shoulders with a higher up, right? This is you connecting with somebody that is powerful, somebody in a position of authority, but also somebody that is a mover and a shaker. Now, what I find really interesting about this is you could be having a money conversation with somebody that you work with that isn't a boss or isn't a superior. And I can give you a really good example of this. So, this might not be you asking for a pay rise or whatever, although for some of you there are pay rises and opportunities for advancement this week for sure. It will come with a lot of added responsibility, so just keep that in mind. But that being said, what I really enjoy about this is so when I worked at my last ever job, I've told this story a lot, but it just, for me, it illustrates how the universe works sometimes, right? For the last, I think it was like the last 3 weeks prior to, we had a bunch of temps come through and I was training them all the time, and that's all right because I enjoy that kind of thing anyway. That wasn't the issue. The issue was the job and some of the people that I worked with. And for 3 weeks prior to this, I was having a question with myself. I was like, should I stay? Should I go? And in the end, I decided to stay. And one of the temps that came through there, he was only there for 2 or 3 weeks, but the information and the knowledge that this person passed to me, I genuinely, with all of my heart, believe was guided to me. Because if I hadn't been there to have that conversation with him about money, about business, about work, about everything, I wouldn't be where I am today. Like, I genuinely believe that, right? I mean, Radiant Reality was already kind of up and running at that point, but what he gave me was just invaluable knowledge, like really invaluable knowledge. This, right? So if you're an employee and you're thinking about leaving and you've had enough and all the rest of it, I'm not saying don't leave. I'm just saying pay attention to the conversations that are happening around you and pay attention to the people that just seem to be passing through what you're doing, because the chances are they have messages or information for you that could be fucking invaluable right now. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, are you ready for a big fish client? Because you're about to get one. Are you ready for a big opportunity when it comes to your business? Because you're about to get one. You will need to show up. You will need to be ready. You will really need to be ready to deliver. I know you can. When it comes to those of you that are retired and no longer working for any reason, I like this for finding a hobby or something that you can do that will make you money, but you're not doing it for the money. You're doing it for pleasure, not to be bored, whatever the case might be, but you are absolutely getting the most out of it. For your love and relations, you've got the 9 of Cups. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, if you've had problems, challenges, or issues in your relationship, especially ones that center around money or finances, those are about to improve in a really big way. This is healing that comes into the relationship, and it's partially because you are no longer playing second fiddle. This is about you standing up and claiming your time, your space, your energy, your freedom, your autonomy, whatever the case might be. And your partner's like, well, damn, I better just get along with the ride then. You're damn fucking right. You did. When it comes to those of you that are single and looking to mingle, 9 of Cups, especially with the World card, right? So to describe the person, they are either very wealthy, sorry to say, but they are wealthier than you are, or they have reached a big level of success in their field. Whoever this person is, you'll know them because they have a command about them, and you'll be like, okay, I don't know what it is that I'm drawn to. I mean, there's just like a palpable, powerful energy that exudes from them, and just from talking to them, you'll realize, like, wow, this person is either very successful, very accomplished, and there's a sense here that you kind of look up to them. It's not a case of like, oh, you're amazing and I'm just a lowly peasant. It's not that. It's more like you can feel that this person walks their walk. All right, so listen, if they got any brothers, give me a shout. For those that's my Cancer moon talking there, like, oh hey. Before we get into your money and materials, I just want to say If you are, so if you haven't yet, your Astro Tarot scopes are up and out there for your purchasing pleasure. They're $7.99 a piece this year, or you can get the bundle for $49.99. You can also get the New Year, New Frequency, short, sharp, focused, energy work based mini course. It's 3, maybe 4 days, give or take. This is going to help you up level yourself and your mindset and your energy, more importantly, for the year of 2024. It's short, sharp, and focused. It's £111, but for a few of you, there's still a couple of discount codes floating around out there somewhere. So if you want to get it at that price, hit it up. And if you're only going to purchase one of those, I do say this to you: make sure it's for your sun sign, because that's how I've designed it. And I have to say, I am super proud of this. Besides Mindset Magic, I have to say it's probably one of the best things I've ever created, and I don't say that lightly. For your money and materials, you got the 5 of Cups. Okay, so there is, I'm sorry to say, but there is some kind of hidden expense this week that shows up. All in all, your money trend is upward, all right? But there's some kind of hidden expense that shows up for you this week, especially if there's travel that comes up spontaneously, or that you have to change travel plans at the last minute. That looks like the thing that will end up costing you. If you don't have travel plans, it may be the car. Yeah, when it comes to your physical health and vitality, this is your reproductive sort of system, your bits and pieces, your sexual organs as well. Because you've got the World card here as well, if you've had any challenges or issues with the reproductive faculties, this does suggest that you might find some answers this week. It might not necessarily be the answers that you're looking for, but there will absolutely be answers there. When it comes to your physical, remember, I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice, this is not a diagnosis. When it comes to your home and environment, that 5 of Cups with the World card, I do wonder here if this is a neighbour, somebody that you have spoken to, somebody that maybe you're not necessarily close to, but someone, you know, you see them, you say, hi, you all right, how you doing? It might, I touch wood, it might be some bad news, to be fair. Like, and it might come sort of very left of field. You might not be expecting this. So, you know, you're talking to a neighbour and they say like, oh, you know, my husband died, or, you know, my wife, you know, passed away, or whatever. I think it's possible. All right. I hope I'm wrong on that front, of course. But the reason I say this is because it's next to the World card. So it's likely to be in your neighbourhood, a neighbour, somebody that is what we would consider relatively close. All right. Not family wise, but somebody that's sort of close in proximity. Okay, with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.